Welcome to CinePro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The Storybox metaphor starts in 2053, after the last war ended. Crime rates shot through the roof, increasing by more than 800%. This, of course, put massive pressure on the prison system, which couldn't even fit a needle anymore. To solve the crisis, the government came up with a new rehabilitation program called the Box. If it had existed in the past, it would have been considered downright inhumane. The program gives prisoners two choices: either volunteer for immediate execution or serve their full sentence locked inside a sealed box. Food and water are delivered depending on the mood of the righteous citizens, the same ones the inmates supposedly harmed. Anyone who even thinks about escaping is executed on the spot, right inside one of those boxes. There's a French woman trying to survive, her body covered in wounds. She's sentenced to 4 years, with more than 2 left to go. Her pot is bone dry. When she looks at the tiny opening in the box, instead of food, she finds a razor blade. After hesitating, she finally decides to give in and use the blade to end her life. On a rocky island in Australia, there are a few of these boxes tossed near the shore. One day, 2 kids are playing and throw a rubber ball at one of the boxes. The ball wakes up the woman inside, prisoner 13. She wakes to find her hands and feet tied. She starts biting at the rope, working until she finally frees herself. She's sentenced to 7 years, and today is her first day. Suddenly, a lamp on the wall lights up and makes a noise. A small hatch opens. Prisoner 13 looks outside and sees the kids walking away. A second later, the lamp buzzes again and the hatch slams shut. While she's begging and pleading for release, a screen on the box flickers on and plays a video explaining how the system works. The video ends with the line, "You're in the place you chose yourself." Prisoner 13 has a breakdown, pounding on the walls, cursing and swearing she's innocent. She cries and screams until exhaustion takes over and she falls asleep. A little while later, the hatch opens again. 13 puts her pot out, hoping for food, but nothing happens. She starts searching every inch of the box, desperate for any way out. But every time she touches a spot for too long, she gets a mild electric shock. Still, she doesn't stop. She keeps searching and searching until there's nothing left to try. As the hours pass, 13 can't stand being alone with her thoughts anymore. She starts scratching at the box walls with her nails, the only entertainment she can find. Meanwhile, in another box, a different woman wakes up. Her sentence is 2 years, with more than 500 days left. Sometimes she hears a voice asking, "Are you still alive?" One night she tries messing with the light panel, but the camera in the box catches her instantly. An alarm blares and a voice announces her execution is near. Metal spikes start descending from the ceiling. The woman screams in terror, begging for help through the hatch, but it's useless. She throws herself to the ground, watching the spikes get closer and closer. Suddenly, they stop right above her face. The screen and countdown voice glitch, and she smiles, thinking it's over. But the glitch ends. The spikes keep coming and crush her to death. The next morning, 13 keeps searching every corner of her box, still finding nothing useful. When it starts raining, she puts her pot under the hatch to collect water and finally gets a drink. Sometime later, 13 wakes from a nap to someone calling her. She finds a young girl standing at the hatch, asking about her sentence. When she learns it's 7 years, she guesses 13 must be a political prisoner. The girl fills her pot with clean water and gives her a small bag of food pills, which 13 eats right away. The girl reminds her that citizens decide every prisoner's fate, and completely ignores 13's claims of innocence. As time passes, 13 feels her mind slipping away, unable to handle the isolation. She grabs the rope and tries to strangle herself for a few seconds, unable to breathe. But just as she's about to die, her hands let go on their own. Another breakdown hits when she realizes she can't even control her own death. Months pass. 13 is still alive, locked in the box. They give her some seeds wrapped in newspaper. She puts them in her dish and holds the newspaper up to the hatch for some light. Unfortunately, the articles are written in a language she doesn't understand. 13 cries, feeling tortured. A little later, 13 reaches her hand out of the hatch, searching around until she finally finds the rubber ball. At last, she has something to distract herself. Days pass in the same dull routine. 13 sleeps and plays with the ball. When the control panel opens the hatch, she looks out at the landscape, trying to soak up some sun. After a while, wounds start appearing on her body, getting worse each day. Meanwhile, in another box, a man is serving a 5-year sentence. He's already done 1,000 days, and now he's just an empty shell inside, repeating one thing: "I'm in the place I chose myself." One afternoon, A drone lifts 13's box and drops it in a forest full of dozens of other prisoners. The girl comes back and asks her, "What are you doing here?" 13 answers, "Rehabilitation." The girl says she's reading Shakespeare, which has been banned for a while. 13 doesn't know the name, but the girl explains she reads well, just not allowed to read inside the box. After the girl tells her there's no rehabilitation without books, she grabs 13's hand and quotes a line from Romeo and Juliet. 13 loves the line and wishes she could read the book someday. The girl tries to give it to her, but 13 refuses, not wanting trouble. The girl gives her some food and promises to visit again and read to her. A year into her sentence, 13 is eating seeds from a bag and finds a small book hidden among them. She turns her back to the camera before opening it, surprised to find it's Romeo and Juliet. Reading the poetry brings her a bit of hope. Next time she gets clean water, 13 washes herself and makes sure to clean her wounds to avoid infection. Touching the wounds hurts badly, but she forces herself through it. Then she throws the dirty water outside. The camera catches it all and marks it as water waste. So they move 13's box back to the shore. Eventually, the girl visits again, surprised at what 13 did to get transferred. Instead of answering, 13 asks her how she decides who gets to eat and how. The girl explains that she walks around. She tries to talk to as many inmates as she can today. Looks like there's a storm coming, so she'll have to leave early. 13 asks her how old she is. Finds out she's 16, and that makes her admit she reminds her of her own sister who died. Weeks pass. 13 has no company left except the little book she keeps hidden in a crack in the box. She carefully takes it out whenever she wants to read a line, always making sure her back is to the camera. Sometimes she's so desperate she reads by moonlight, even though it's not as strong as the sun. One day, the drone moves the box again, and 13 watches it fly over the ocean. As soon as it lands, a man appears at the hatch, eating an apple just to taunt her. 13 cries and begs him for a single bite, pleads with him to have mercy, but the man tells her he wouldn't show mercy to any animal in these boxes, and if it were up to him, he'd execute every inmate with no chance for rehabilitation. After a short scuffle, the man says he's willing to make a deal. She can have the apple if she gives herself to him. 13 is so desperate for food she agrees. She moves her body toward the hatch, and just as the man is about to do it, the drone monitoring the area catches them in the act and opens fire. The man is killed instantly. A bullet enters the box and hits 13 in the leg. Despite the brutal pain, 13 reaches out, grabs the apple, and starts eating it quickly. Unfortunately, she discovers it's full of worms. In the end, she throws it up. That night, 13 wakes up to the sound of an alarm. A voice says that trading food is against the rules, and as punishment, 13 must go 7 days without sleep. This is her only warning. If she breaks the rules again, she'll be executed. Then a harsh light comes on inside the box, and the alarm keeps blaring. For 7 days, 13 can't sleep. She tries to cover her eyes and ears with her shirt, but nothing works. All she can do is scream in frustration, feeling her mind slip away. Sometimes the alarm stops and 13 tries to sleep, but as soon as she closes her eyes, it starts again. During this hellish week, 13 completes 2 years in the box. After a while, she notices people outside the box living happy lives. Suddenly, the voice announces she was imprisoned unfairly, and the citizens have voted to release her. A beautiful woman's face appears at the hatch and manages to come inside. 13 feels like she recognizes her but can't place her. The woman sits on a couch playing with a teacup and explains that all this is just a hallucination, that she's not getting out. In reality, the beautiful woman is what 13 looked like before she was arrested. The woman explains the kinds of movies the human brain can create, then starts laughing hysterically while 13 screams in pain. When the box finally announces the punishment is over, 13 can sleep and the hallucination fades, but the trauma leaves her deeply scarred. A few nights later, 13 sees fireworks in the sky. The box's voice explains it's the new year, and to celebrate, the citizens have decided to pardon all the inmates in the boxes, except those convicted of political crimes. That means 13 won't be released tonight. 13 discovers her teeth are starting to fall out. One morning, an old woman appears outside 13's box, knocking on the wall with a rusty razor blade before she speaks. She explains she spent 15 years in a box, and that the experience made her who she is now. She gives 13 the razor before saying she hates the person she's become. 13 just stares at the razor against her skin, but doesn't have the courage to use it. Eventually, the Shakespeare-loving girl comes back, and it takes 13 a few seconds to realize she's real. After filling the pot with clean water, the girl touches 13's hand and says a line from the book. This time, 13 is able to finish the rest of the sentence with her A month later, 13's belly is huge. She's pregnant because of what happened with the Apple Man. The next time the girl visits, she tells 13 her family or group wants to rescue her and let her serve the rest of her time under their care. As soon as she says this, the alarm goes off, the hatch slams shut, and the girl runs away. 13 can do nothing but scream in agony at her lost chance. A few weeks later, a new man appears at the hatch. He notices 13 is pregnant and still has 4 years left. He asks if she knows what mercy means, pointing at another box that's on fire. He thinks a quick death is the best thing she could hope for, but she refuses his offer. Sometime after that, 13 notices water dripping from the ceiling. She reaches up, unscrews a loose screw, and uses it to file her nails before tossing it away. Then she starts scratching at the hole the screw left, hoping to widen it. After a few months, 13 starts to feel labor pains. She drops to her knees and pushes through the pain until the baby is born. 13 hugs the child and bites through the umbilical cord with her teeth. At that moment, the alarm blares, and the box's voice announces that 13 has broken another rule by bringing another person into the box, so execution must be carried out. Suddenly, the box fills with gas and 13 passes out. When she wakes up, she discovers her son has been taken from her. She screams, breaks down, and begs them to give her child back. After 4 years in confinement, a violent storm and high waves slam into the box. Because of the holes 13 made, water keeps pouring in and ruins the control panel. When 13 reaches out to see if she can find anything useful, the system glitches from the water and clamps the hatch down on her arm as she screams in pain. 13 keeps pulling on her arm but can't get it free. Instead, she injures it even more. After a while, the system glitches again and the hatch opens, finally freeing her arm, but it's broken. Later, 13 sees an insect, stomps on it with her bare foot, then picks it up and eats it, almost throwing up as she does. Meanwhile, water keeps pouring in, so she collects some in her pot, but the box quickly starts to flood. Even as the water fills the space around her, 13 tries to read her book. Eventually, the water rises so high she can't stand anymore. The system detects unauthorized interference and announces it's time for execution. As 13 tries to swim to stay above water, a drone appears to lift the box, but it gets struck by lightning and crashes to the ground. The box falls too, and soon the waves carry it away. In the morning, 3 young men playing on the beach spot the box as the waves toss it ashore. 13 herself comes out behind it, but they completely ignore her and walk home. And that's the end of the film. See you in the next recap, and thanks for watching.